Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining me today in the Locker Room. I'm Alan Locher, and I grew up watching both As the World Turns and Guiding Light. I joined the PR department at both shows in 1997 and remained working there for 13 years before the shows went off the air. As I was stuck home in quarantine, I realized that I was missing my Springfield family and thought some of you at home may be feeling the same way too. I'm extremely excited about today's show, as I truly was lucky enough to watch today's guest take Springfield by storm, and I've so enjoyed watching them all grow into incredible actors and moving on from Springfield. So please welcome to the Locker Room Paulo Benedeti, who played Jesse Blue, Tammy Blanchard, who played Drew Jacobs, Joy Lenz, who played Michelle Bauer Santos, Brittany Snow, who played Susan Daisy Lemay, and Paul Wesley, who played Max Nickerson. Please say hello to the crew. Paul, Brittany, Joy, Brittany, and Paulo. Hey, everybody.
Hi.
How cool to see a group together. Wow.
Really is incredible to see all of your faces in one place. Paulo, thanks for your part in helping us get this together.
My pleasure.
Tammy, I did hear you say Patty Darbenville, so if you have a good time, you and I will talk after, and we'll try and get Patty to join us.
I would love that.
Patty.
I think Len may join us later, which he basically can take credit for putting us all together. I think without him casting us on our awesome roles, maybe we wouldn't have had the launch pad that we had, like Paul and Brittany. I mean, you're all so super famous now. I'm just up in North Carolina. But Tammy's got a Golden Globe, and
Tony. Down the street.
Did you know that I think I'm the only guy on this thing that actually wasn't a series regular on the guiding? Like, I was just like a recurring character.
You were our adopted son, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but I wasn't. I never was really. I always was like in my head. I was like,
you were around to me.
Are they gonna make me a regular? Yeah. And they never did.
you never signed a contract, Paul?
No, never.
Nope. I remember Tay Diggs got a binder one day. I was like, if you sign that contract, I will punch you in the nose.
I never got
Speaking of Tay Diggs, Tammy, was that your first scene was with Tay?
Yes. That was my first professional scene. And I had to kiss him. I walked in the room and I said, "Hey, sugar, you miss me?" And then I kissed him on the lips. And I was terrified. I was sweating in the armpits and the feet. And it was terrible. But he was so sweet and professional.
He was awesome.
Yeah, he was
Did
there.
he leave the show before I?
Yeah, he was there. Sure.
Yeah.
He got Stella got her groove, I believe.
He went to Rent. He did Rent, and then Stella got your groove, and I said, "Hey, there's my mom. Hi, Mom."
Hi, Mom.
Celebrity. My niece is here too.
Brittany, do you remember your first day?
I do actually. I had the scene with Beth Ellers on the porch. Or it was like a roof, and I was crying because she left me, and I was Daisy, but I was also Susan. That was really confusing. I had two names, and actually I remember that I actually shot a short film about that scene for me, where I wrote it and directed it, because it was so crazy that day for me.
Is it online?
Yeah,
I really want to see that short film, by the way. You never sent it to me. I asked you to send it.
I know. I told you I was going to, and then I didn't.
And then you
I don't
didn't.
know why.
Yeah. So what's going on
It's called
there?
Milkshake. It's on Vimeo. But yeah, it's about that scene, about my first scene.
Milkshake. Oh, I'm going to check that out. And congratulations to you on getting married just before this.
Congrats!
Happened.
Thanks. Oh yeah.
Brittany was looking who?
I still don't know that it was me. Because since being in quarantine, it's like, what is marriage? I mean, you just are staring at each other. We don't do anything. But we're still married. So that's really the key. Just
even outside of quarantine, you're still going to be thinking, what is marriage? Because really, it's the exact same thing as non-marriage.
That's what I found. Yeah. And Paul, you got married right before, a couple months before quarantine, right? I remember that it was the same day as the Emmy.
You got married twice and didn't invite me both times, Paul?
Oh,
actually,
my God.
technically,
fighting words. That's it. I'm breaking up. I have
I
the
got
piece of
married 3
paper
times.
where you changed your name, by the way. I'm ripping it up. I'm burning it. I'm done.
I should have made it Benedetti. I should have been Benedetti.
That's good.
No, I had a legal marriage and then yes, I've been married for a while actually. But the big thing that you're referring to was, I guess, a few months prior to quarantine. So.
Yeah.
Paul, do you remember your first day?
You know, the one impression that I have from my first day, the one thing I remember is that before watching it, I walked onto the screen super insecure and nervous, and then a voice, like the voice of God, came on the live thing and went, the role of Max Nickerson will now be played by Paul Wesley. And I guess that's how they announced the cast, because it was the guy who had played
Jesse Lee Sofer.
Yeah, I remember that kid.
That's right.
I liked that kid at first, and he ended up doing the Brady Bunch for Bobby.
You know,
is that what he left?
Yeah,
wow, your memory's great.
Really good.
Everyone.
I don't know if I liked Paul at first. I was like, I don't know who is this kid. The other kid was so
You
nice.
still don't know if you do, man.
We had some good days, Paulie.
So that's what you remember.
I just remember that.
I
I don't specifically remember my first day, but what I can say is that I was so nervous for like the longest time. I actually think I was nervous the whole time. I don't think I ever relaxed. Like I was always looked up so much to like all you guys, like Joy and Tammy and Brittany and Paulo. I was like, wow, they're so loose and they're just like so comfortable. And I was just so nervous and I just wanted to be like them. And I don't think I ever got there. That's why they never made me.
I remember your screen test. You were great.
Oh, did you screen test him?
We did like a bunch of different guys, and I remember that I liked Paul the best. And so I was like trying to flirt like extra hard with him because I was like, I hope that Paul gets it. But you were so nice and nervous and like, I was like, why am I the one in here with all these like cute boys? I was like, 13 years old. This is like a dream for me.
We were in like the producer's office, right? Like,
yes, in Paul Roush.
Paul Roush.
His office with like the leather chair and like
cigar smoke.
Exactly.
Remember when we broke in, Paul? We went to watch your pilot in his office. We went into his office.
That's right. I remember
that. Was your first big pilot. I was like, come on, dude, let's use Paul's office. Yeah.
Oh my God.
What was the name of that show? That was excellent.
Oh no, I don't remember now. I really don't. But that's so funny, man. God.
I'm like the world exploding. Anyways, go ahead, Alan.
No, that's fine. And Joy, Tammy, Joy's first day was literally Rebecca Budig's last day when Rebecca and Tammy killed Mick Santos, right? And then the next day was Joy filming the same exact scene over.
The show now being played by Joy Lenz.
So you had the same thing that Paul did.
Technically, my first day was when I played Reba's clone.
True.
A few months before that. So at least I knew the set and I knew a lot of the people that, I was going to be working with and stuff. But it was scary. It was like, but it was exciting. I mean, I was 17 and I had a job on a soap opera for 2 weeks and I was playing a clone and they put these weird contacts in my eyes. And I was like, just going to work by myself at 17, just, it was cool. It was great. Everybody was really nice.
What was
I remember,
Joy? Do you remember it? Was it with us, with me, with Tammy?
Well, no, her first scene was with Tammy when they recreated Mick's killing.
Yeah, because Rebecca
and Tammy killed him.
Was done on a Friday.
And Joy was so good. Joy ran right into that scene in that set and kicked ass.
You were like in a little island, right?
Joy was ready to go. We
were but you know what?
Fake sand.
Yeah, it was like an island, right? Yeah,
Stage 4.
She took that rock, smashed it up. She was ready to go.
You know what, though? I couldn't cry. And I said this in the last time that we had our little reunion, Alan. But Tammy, remember, I couldn't cry. Like, for some reason, I couldn't.
Yeah.
Tammy cried for everyone. Every
reaction.
day.
And,
well, I was scared to cry.
I'm sorry, my dogs are going crazy. You might have to mute me.
I didn't have any training in acting. I just did like school plays and stuff growing up, but I knew I loved it. And I was afraid to cry. I didn't think I'd be able to cry. I wasn't crying in my life. I was holding everything in. And Lisa Brown, who played, what part did Lisa play?
Nola. Lisa Brown played Nola on Guiding Light.
Right. And she became our acting coach behind the scenes. And she really helped. But once I started crying, they realized I could cry, and I never stopped crying for 3 years.
You cried so well. You were inspiration.
Paulo died 3 times in 1 hour. Do you remember that, Paulo?
What happened?
You died in the hospital 3 times in 1 hour. You died, then you came back to life, then you died. Do you remember that?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I totally
I feel like I remember that.
I don't remember
Your heart.
All.
Your heart went to Maureen Bauer. It went to Michelle's mom.
Oh my God.
Came from Michelle's mom. Sorry.
Michelle's mom.
That's crazy.
Yeah, you got Michelle's Maureen Bauer's heart.
Joey,
You don't remember that?
your chips are louder than your dogs. By the way,
I'm so
do you
sorry.
remember your
Oh my
first
God, I'm
day?
so sorry.
That's
You
okay.
know,
The Department of Water and
Alan,
Power just showed up. I'm like, I can't help it.
I gotta say, that was the worst working
Sorry.
day ever for me on the soap when Paulo died 3 times, or it might have been 2, but it was literally
my
like,
last-
oh my God, he's dying. Oh, he's back. Oh my God, he's dying. Oh, he's back. And it was like in the same day. It was
that may have been a day I just stayed in bed with no lines. And I was
You did.
completely hungover, and I was like, cool, I get to sleep, no lines. I remember that week. I didn't do anything. I just did nothing.
You
I was
lied
probably
there.
out with Paulie gallivanting out in town.
I remember that.
Paulo, do you remember your first day?
I used to crash, and I had a fake ID, and I'd stay at Paulo's apartment, and we used to go to all the clubs.
Oh God,
I was
trouble.
15. I was 15 years old. No, I was older than that. Maybe I was like 16.
You were
17.
17 or 18?
17, yeah, not 18. Paulo used to get me into all the clubs, and I was like, "Oh my God, this is the most amazing thing in the world!" Like, I just thought, like,
We'd go snowboarding straight out to a club. Correct.
yeah, it was just such a great time in my life. I loved it. Anyway, sorry, you were asked.
Paulo, do you remember your first day?
You took the wrong turn, little girl. Something like that. I think
Who was it?
Remember what you said?
it was.
was it with?
It was not the awesome Joey Lenz playing Michelle
Rebecca.
Bauer. It was another actress, and she. Your character came looking for the recipient of her mother's heart, Maureen Garrett, Alan, which is what I was trying to say.
Maureen Bauer.
And I was the recipient. And I was supposedly a grease monkey that had a Harley, and nothing's changed.
They always had you with a leather jacket. I just remember you were always in a leather jacket.
Yeah.
Always.
Always.
A little choker and an earring or something, right?
Yeah.
I remember that.
You know that
Hey,
weird
Joy,
moment where you order something for Amazon and it looks like this? And you're like,
Wow.
what the hell did I buy?
No.
And you don't remember?
No
While
idea.
you were like on Ambien in the middle of the night. You like,
Yeah, totally. Joy, before I forget, my cousin had a baby just recently, Melinda. She's a big fan of yours from One Tree Hill, and she's been playing your music to her little daughter.
Oh,
So I just wanted you to know.
so sweet. Oh,
Yeah,
that makes me
you
happy.
make
Thank you.
wait,
So do you-
is Joy muted for you guys or just me?
Just you.
Fuck, it's happening again. Damn it.
Damn.
First Paulo was muted, which was a lot better than when now that Joy.
Yeah, thanks, Paul.
Can you reverse
Paul.
it? Can you reverse it?
Hey,
I
I see.
can't.
I do look pretty darn red.
You do look red.
You look
do
great.
look
You
red.
look great. We'll fix it in post.
I've been
Tammy,
in my garage literally vacuuming and cleaning since 8 in the morning on the East Coast time. So, anyhow.
Tammy, who did you screen test with? Do you remember?
Oh, she's muted now, but I read her lips with
Oh
me.
yeah.
Oh, Paulo. Yeah.
Oh, you did with Paulo.
He was so sweet. So I really sucked in the first reading. I was terrible. I was horrible. I was terrified. And I said to him, I said to Joe, he was the makeup guy as he was putting the makeup on
Joe
for my
Cola.
second shot.
Oh
Joe
my
Cola.
God, Joe
I like
Cola.
her too.
I mean, those guys, the makeup artists and the hair guys, they were our favorite people in the whole world there. They were like our family every morning. And you spent a lot of time in the makeup chair doing soap operas. Like they put makeup on you for like an hour and do your hair. For
Paula,
did
you just say Helen?
Helen, I loved Helen and Paul.
Helen sadly passed away a few years ago. Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, we love her. So she was a great lady. Great lady.
I loved Helen.
Brittany, did you screen test with somebody?
Wait. Let Tammy tell her story.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
What was okay.
So you came out.
She said she wasn't good in the screen test.
Right, I sucked. Yeah. And then I asked Joe, the makeup guy who was putting my makeup on. I said, "Do I suck?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "Oh no!" So then I was determined to friggin' come out there the second time, and I actually just pretended to be my boyfriend at the time, who was the father of my child, and I just pretended to be his cool, confident self, and I just literally became him. And then after it, I was getting in the elevator, and Paulo was skating out. You had your skateboard, right?
I always skateboarded with my dog. Yep.
And he was so laid back and chill and handsome too, And he went into the elevator, and he was like, "I think you got it, right?" He said, "I think you got it." And he just smiled at me, and then just from there, it was just this loving freaking relationship forever.
I actually hit the 4th floor, Tammy.
Oh.
And I got off and went right into Paul's office. I go, "I know who you're picking." He goes, "Why? Who do you want?" I was like, "Not who you want." He goes, "Dude, she's perfect. She's on time. She's been acting her whole life. She knows every line. I mean, this girl's a dream come true for a soap opera." I was like, "Give the other one a shot." He goes, "Dude, she's green." I was like, "Give the other one a shot. I will work with her. The other one will drive me bananas."
Paulo, you freaking started my whole acting career. What did
you wanted to hire the other girl? Was a shoe-in.
Okay.
Why has this never come up?
I don't know.
Seriously.
You know what? He probably told me the story like 8 years ago when we were drunk in a club or something, and I forgot it. But
you thanked me every day for like a year, I think.
Paulo,
thank you. You got me this job. I don't have to go.
Shut up.
Oh my God.
I must have forgotten it. I forgot that. And I'm glad to remember.
I can't remember what I did for lunch, but I remember 20 years ago pretty good.
Paulo,
that's why she'll do anything for you, Paulo.
Yeah. No,
well, look at it this way.
We've been in touch always, Alan.
I've loved you this much for so long, not even knowing you started my career. So that shows how much I really love you. Okay.
Maybe I blocked you, but you definitely got good training.
You blocked me.
Oh, you maybe you could have gotten a film and been a superstar like by the time you're 20.
No, I am a superstar.
You are, but
I'm just not famous.
They wouldn't let me out for my film, so my career, got halted and then got a little slowed down there.
Tammy, didn't you win like 9 Tonys or something like that?
No. She's been nominated one time.
I hear
nominated for Emmys and whatever.
It was like
one
Tony.
Day, Paul. I still got a good.
No, but hold on a minute.
Business.
Weren't you like because I never saw. I heard like you were like you did some big stage thing, right? Gypsy. Yeah. Right.
The producers.
Yeah, you know what
Tammy
happened
Blanchard, and she wasn't there.
This is what happened. I auditioned for Sam Mendes and for Gypsy, and I heard that Paulo Benedetti went into the office and told Sam Mendes not to hire, someone else. Who was the girl that was up for that? She's huge. She's in. She was in. Oh my gosh, she looks a little bit like me. I forget her name.
Oh, Marissa Tomei? What are you talking about?
No, I've been up against her for so much stuff. Devil Wears Prada. She was in.
Oh yeah,
Anne Hathaway.
Anne Hathaway. Yeah, she was up for it, and then I swooped in there and I auditioned. And what actually happened? See, it's always something freak that happened along the way for me to get parts. Was I was curled up in a ball next to Stephen Sondheim and Arthur Lawrence, and I didn't even know they were sitting next to me, and I was curled up, like hunched over, and he said that Sam came in and he said that's when he knew that was his Gypsy, because so it's something weird like that. But Paula might have had something to do with that too.
No,
but I love, Tammy, that you're sitting next to Stephen Sondheim and you don't know that. That is you to a T and perfection.
Wait, so Sam Mendes directed that play?
Yeah.
Oh,
Did you
that's
ever
so
work
cool.
with him, Paul?
He's amazing. No, God, I would have loved Jesus. I could only be so lucky. No, he's like one of my
Paul's a
favorite.
director now.
He's amazing. Yeah, well, I'm no Sam Mendes, but yeah, he's incredible. That's so cool. I wish I had seen it. I'm bummed.
Paul, I
Tammy
thought
was
you did
supposed to
play
invite
with.
us, Paul. When you were staying with me in LA, Tammy was supposed to invite us, and she never did. She ghosted us for like 3 years.
Did I?
Yeah.
I feel like you did ghost us.
Hey,
You remember that,
time
Paul?
in my life was very tumultuous.
I was like, you better invite
Wait,
me.
first-
Paul will be
No,
there. We never heard from you.
Paul has been ghosting you for about 3 years now, right? And I've been
20,
there.
about 20. He left my house, got Vampire Diaries. I didn't hear from him
Yeah.
once. I ran into him because of a mutual director friend throwing a party. I was like,
No,
gosh.
dude. I moved to Atlanta. Joy, you know what it's like. Didn't you move to like Wilmington for like 10 years as well?
Yeah, I
You
did.
know what it's like. You're doing 22 episodes a year
I
for
know.
like, you're like gone and you're like, you don't talk to anyone.
It's so hard.
That's
so hard to keep.
I
I'm not
can't hear
married.
Joy. I can't hear Joy, which is sad.
Can't hear me?
You're muted for me, but not for anyone else.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Yeah, sorry. I'll let you know if she says something to you. Paul, I did see you do a play with David Harbour here in New York. You were fantastic.
Oh, you saw it? Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
We talked.
Yeah.
That's right. We
Yeah.
spoke
You were
afterwards. Oh my God. I completely forgot about that.
I
yeah,
love him.
you were
Great.
such a great play. Such a great play.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Oh my God. I'm so glad you saw that. I totally forgot that we spoke after the play.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, that was so much fun. It was my first time doing a play in New York, and obviously a super small theater. Nothing like Gypsy, but yeah, it was still such an amazing experience.
What was the name of Green? Did Green was in the title, maybe?
Cal and Camo.
Oh, Cal and
That was the
Camo.
name. Yeah.
Green, I guess. Yeah.
Street Camo.
Brittany to Brittany, to go back. Do you remember who you screen tested with?
I screen tested alone, actually. I remember the day of doing it because my parents had to take me, and I remember seeing Paul Rausch and him sitting in that big chair, and I remember him asking me if I liked
Scary for a
act.
12-year-old.
Yeah, my dad told us a great story about it. He says that he was like, all right, you got this? And I guess I turned around and was like, Dad, I got this. And I think that was the most confident I've ever been, because from there, it's not been like that. But my 12-year-old Guiding Light audition, I was totally fine.
You were always so confident
That's awesome.
on set. I remember you I remember exactly where your dressing room was, around that corner. And you just you carried yourself with such ease and excitement and energy, and you knew your lines. You were so well spoken for someone so young. I mean,
she was. I agree.
You're impressive.
Sadly, 44th Street no longer exists. The building.
322 East 44th.
Yeah.
Wow.
So sad.
Wow, that number's been a big number in my life. I didn't realize it started back then.
222?
222. I see it every day. I screenshot it every day. One of my best friends died at 222.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
Sorry to hear that.
And he always pointed out 222. And after he passed, I'm like, I see it every day.
That number has followed me also.
Number 65. Remember, Paul?
On February 22nd.
That's
Paulo,
right.
we made the deal that if we weren't married at 65, we're going to get married.
Well, you said 55, but I think you changed it like a month ago. You called me late night and you're like, hey, yo, we're getting old. Let's change it to 55. Hey, yo.
If you get married, Paulo, you have to come to New Jersey, though. She's not leaving New Jersey.
You got to come to North Carolina, though, yo. We ain't moving there. I like my lake and I like my land, yo.
Okay, we'll wait till Ava goes to college.
Tammy, where in Jersey are you?
Bayonne.
She hasn't
You're
left.
in you haven't left? That's so
You didn't
wild.
see
My
her
whole
house.
family's still in Jersey. My whole family's still in Jersey.
Where do they live?
Mine too.
They're in Monmouth County, Marlboro. You know where that is.
Yours
right?
too, Joy? Where do they live?
Yeah, they're up at, I grew up in Bergen, but they're all out in,
You look gorgeous, by the way.
they're all out in Sussex now. But I miss it.
She looks great.
Grew up.
I love that you haven't left Bayonne, Tammy. It's one of the things I've always loved and admired about you. You've just never been able to be anything other than exactly who you are, so authentic. And it shows up in your work. It shows up, I just have always loved that about you. It's a great quality.
Thank you, my darling. It's not easy.
So for all of you, who or what sort of influenced you on becoming actors? Brittany? I mean, you started so young at 12. I know some of the others too.
Yeah, I didn't really, I mean, I started when my mom got me into it when I was a baby. So I didn't really have a choice, I guess. But then the scene where I met Beth Ellers and I was on the roof and I had to cry and tell her, you know, why did you give me up for adoption? That was the first time that I actually did anything where I was like, wow, this is something that I actually love doing, because I left my body in this weird way and got high for the first time. And that was, Guiding Light was really the reason that I became an actor, because I don't know what I would have done if I didn't, you know, feel it like that after that.
And talk about Beth. What does Beth mean to you?
Beth Ellers was so important in my formative years, because she influenced all of my choices in terms of like how I saw the business, how I saw people. She was such like a confident and sure of herself, authentic too. I mean, she carried herself around on that set with so much, I don't know. I mean, like she had like a lot of zazz, you know, and she was just who she was. And I remember she would always take me out to lunch when we would have our lunch breaks and talk to me about, I don't know, whatever. I remember she was talking to me about like how Meg Ryan, you know, how I could be the next Meg Ryan and, you know, things like that. She always gave me so much advice, and I loved her for that. I also heard my first sexual innuendo because of her. And I think a lot of us did. Yeah. There was a lot of like, I was like, what is that? And she was like, oh, honey, you're going to learn about that. And I was like, okay.
I love her.
I remember she told me about, I had to be drunk with you in one scene, Paul, and I didn't know what drinking was because I had never drank before. And so Beth actually broke down what drinking was and then how I should feel the day after. And I remember being like, why would anyone drink if you feel that way the next day? And she goes, oh my God, it's fine. You're going to love it. It's so worth it.
Did she advise you when you had to do your first kiss with me?
She did.
How was she?
We talked about that. My first ever kiss was with Jesse, because it was like but my first like kiss was with you, and I didn't know what the heck I was doing. So I asked her, I was like, what do you do? And she was like, I don't know. She just told me to kind of go with it. And weirdly enough, I remember watching it back the next day, because we would film it and then it would be on, you know, the next day. And I remember thinking to myself, I kind of know what I'm doing. I don't know. I didn't know how, but it works.
You're like, I look good.
I was like 13.
Yeah, 13. But that's a good, you know, it's good to have somebody who helps you, guide you in such a business like this. Mm-hmm. You know, that you had Beth. Paulo, who or what brought you into the acting realm?
Well, I guess I'll try to make it short. You know, I grew up watching TV like Charles in Charge and Family Ties and, you know, Valerie's Family and all that type of stuff. But the reality is I never wanted to be an actor. I never thought of being an actor. I never fantasized about it. I never thought it was a possibility. Didn't even know it was, you know, in my wheelhouse. So I chased a cute girl that no one would talk to down the beach. She said, hey, do you want to go to this agency in Miami with me? And I just heard with me Miami. And I was like, okay, we're going to go to lunch. I was like in a tank top and my Birkenstocks like I always was. And I was like, great. We go to Miami. She picks me up in a convertible red car. And her license plate is KRIS10, Chris 10. So she was not at all. Anyhow, he was like there with a portfolio, like waiting at Irene Marie in her lobby. And, you know, everyone's being seen in this glass room where you can see everyone. You know, when the agents liked someone, they took a long time. And when they didn't, they were in and out. She looked like she was going to a polo match. They didn't like her. I was like, let's go to lunch. And then the agents are like, Paulo, oh my God, who is that guy? Get him in here. And I was like, no, I'm there, I'm leaving. And they're like, oh, silly Irene, he's here. And, you know, within 2 weeks, which Glenn Daniels did something pretty similar when I showed up on Guiding Light. He's like, oh, I'm falling off my chair. But the reality is within 2 weeks of that, meeting that girl, I was the lead actor on a sitcom called Out of the Blue. It was shot at SeaWorld. It was Al Burton, which did Square Pegs, Different Strokes, Facts of Life, Charles in Charge, and then us. And he goes, Bella, you're my next Charles. But they hired me as the lead for some coincidence. And my mom goes, you're not leaving. You're going to school. You're going to school. She says, went to Orlando and went about my merry way and left engineering for the birds. But I always wondered what would have happened if I continued computer science and engineering.
So interesting, though, that you grew up watching those shows and then Out of the Blue.
I watched them all. Different Strokes, Family Ties, all of them.
So cool.
Yeah.
Tammy, for you?
Oh, you know, Judy Garland.
It was
Somewhere
Judy, right?
Over
That's what
the
I
Rainbow.
thought. Yeah.
Yeah, but really it was just
So then
this...
let's skip then. What was that like? Because I
Yeah.
forgot that it was you grew up loving her and then to play her and win some pretty big awards for that role.
That's what
It's
she
like, you know,
wanted.
if you don't believe in God, if you heard my story and you believed it, you would after. It's like the things that have happened to me, the miracles, the mysteries, just the things that coincide with each other and the signs and wonders. It's like, you know, that was the first song I ever sang, Somewhere Over the Rainbow, and I was only like, it was 1987. So my household was just crazy. My father was a Vietnam vet and they fought, stepbrothers. And, you know, one day my principal came into the office and to the music room and they were auditioning for Somewhere Over the Rainbow, the solo. And she pointed to me. Meanwhile, I'm so scared. Like I can't even raise my hands to, like, I'll pee my pants in class because I'm that scared. I can't raise my hands. And the principal called on me to sing, to audition for the solo, and I got it. And through singing that song, it's like it was in the paper, and there was a shot of me on the side, and I looked just like her, and my family was happy. And I realized, oh my gosh, this is something that I can do to make my family happy. And it's through Judy Garland and through that song that I became an actress and became like someone who loves to sing. And then to have that role of playing her become the thing that sets off my career in such a way and to win the Emmy for it. And, you know, wasn't Kim, who was the young girl that was on Guiding Light, but she had left? Kim.
Yes. Brown?
Kimberly Brown.
Kimberly Brown. She was just on my show. I just had her on this last Wednesday.
You can
with
confirm
Zimmer.
this with her, Kimberly Brown. I had auditioned for it because on my dressing room in Guiding Light, I had painted Somewhere Over the Rainbow with a tree. I don't know if anyone remembers that.
I remember that. I walked into, I was like, what is this?
And I told my manager, if you ever see them trying to do the story of Judy Garland or anything with Dorothy, I want to play it. So he found it in the Variety magazine, which is a great place for people who want to become actors and actresses to go and look for auditions and stuff, and their website too. But he found that they were doing the Judy Garland thing, and I auditioned for it. And I thought I killed it because I loved her so much. They called and said that they were going to go with Kimberly Brown, who was on the show.
Wow.
So it's so weird. Out of thousands and thousands of people that auditioned, the one they were going for was someone I had known, I had met, and I was thinking, oh my God, she looks just like her. Of course she's going to get it. She's great. She's wonderful. But I prayed that night, and I was like,
I feel like
Lord,
Kimberly Brown might have. Was she too young?
Yeah.
No, she got the part. They were giving her the part. And I cried, prayed, and I was like, that's it. I'm done. If this don't happen, nothing will. And I was destined to play. And she ended up turning the role down and doing Stephen King's. It was a television movie.
Yeah, she did.
Something to that
I think she did do a Stephen King, yeah.
A Stephen King movie. And then so I got the part. And that was like,
whoa.
It's just a miracle. It was like a miracle.
Crazy.
That's crazy.
That's wild.
That's crazy. I totally forgot that story. Yeah.
And you won an Emmy for that?
I won an Emmy for it, and I was like, what? Cool. But the funniest part about that story is Judy Davis. Judy Davis. She would come. She came. I was shit scared, first of all. And she came, and the first day I met her, she took me out to dinner, and she plopped a whole thing of photographs like this high on the table. And she said, I don't know why everyone's getting so hung up. It's another fucking biopic. And I was like, but this is Judy Garland. This is going to be great. And then she turned down to win every award in the book. And so has anyone else who's played her after, it seems. But
I was mad you weren't in the most recent movie, Tammy. I was like, where the heck is Tammy?
Yeah, I know. I was pretty mad too.
Yeah.
But I liked
the recent movie.
I liked and respected the way Renee played her because she
Renee
played her with so
Zellweger,
much
Judy.
love.
Oh,
Yeah.
right, of course.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I love the way she
Too busy
played her.
for-
I just think that, the element of her rage and her true, wretchedness was missed out. So I there's this Over the Rainbow that Tracy Bennett, I think her name is, did years ago on Broadway that I want to bring back in 10 years as I age. But sorry guys, I talked a lot, but you got me excited.
No, this
Really
is
interesting.
It's
Super
fascinating. It was
Yeah.
fascinating, and I forgot. I totally remember that you loved Judy from your interviews. But you were always nervous too, Tammy. I think even at Guiding Light, I remember
Yeah.
you were definitely.
I
Paul,
just
what
know
about you?
Renee I'm not nervous anymore. Is anyone else still nervous? I'm over it.
I went through a time when I got nervous, but I remember on Guiding Light, I remember just looking at you being like, she's the best actress I've ever seen. I really was. I was obsessed with you. I would watch all your scenes and be like, she's just so good. So it was just crazy how you don't see yourself at that time the way that you are.
Yeah, but you three ladies, were written for quite well on that show. The material you all had. I mean, Brittany, being a, step, having adoptive parents, real parents. Then you lost Jim in the fire.
The fire.
Right?
Yes.
The fire. Anthony Adabo.
I loved Anthony
I remember
Adabo.
that guy. Yeah.
We had such an incredible bond.
Sorry to be the bearer. He died a few years ago too. I don't know what happened. I know, awful.
You're kidding me.
Yeah, he
no.
actually. I just happened to was looking up, and it was actually on my birthday, October 18th. It was. I don't know what happened. I liked him too
because he was
really
a pretty
great
young guy.
He was definitely. He was
Probably
56.
my age when he died.
No, he was about 56 or somewhere. I think. I'm not. I could be wrong. But,
That's right.
I mean, I was watching those scenes. I mean, you and Beth Chamberlain were incredible, Britt. That fire.
That's really crazy because Anthony and I don't know. I felt like I had always known him, which is what he was I was going through such a weird time on Guiding Light. And you guys were all really lovely to me, but I was a teenager and going through so much crap. And he just took me under his wing and made me feel like I was going to be okay. And so that makes me sad.
Yeah. Sorry that I don't like this to be that.
No,
Paul, what
and
about
also,
you? Yeah, go ahead, Britt.
Oh, sorry. I was also going to bring up joy in my life because I feel like you were the person that shaped me in such a beautiful way too. I just remember you singing all the time in the the hallways. And I just remember I was obsessed with how you carried yourself and how free you were and with who you were and how much magic you gave to everything. Just everything was like a song. And I was like, oh, she's just the best.
She was.
Yeah.
Cool.
I echo all that because I guess Brittany and I were Brittany was certainly the youngest, but we were the teens of the show in a way, even though I feel like I'm the same age as everyone. But for whatever reason, but
at that time you were.
At that time, I felt, and so I just remember really just looking up to everyone, and I just and similarly watching people on screen, I was like, how do they all make it look so effortless? How do they all make everything, and they're all so confident. And I remember Joy. I remember, I remember you had an apartment in the West Village or something, and and you were living there and with a girlfriend, and I was just this is so cool, the coolest ever, and I was just living with my parents in Jersey, and I was just I want to be
my house
or your house. I want to be like them when I grow up. They're just the coolest ever, and for me. I was I didn't have the easiest childhood in Jersey. I had I got kicked out of. I went to 3 different high schools. I like had I did not feel like I fit in, and I had a really rough go. And for me, guiding light and New York City in general was like it was like a new identity. It was like a new way for me to like start over and like define who I am. And for me, like it was the catalyst for me wanting to pursue acting, was the fact that I had this show and this new group of people who didn't know me yet, and I could be whoever I wanted. And it was really important time in my life. Probably one of the best times in my life was my teens in New York City. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Paul, there's a scene that I found online with you and Ryan Brown, who played Bill Lewis, and it is so funny because you were so young and cocky, and but it was you're giving Bill Lewis women advice, and your line was, "They don't call me the love machine for nothing."
Will you send me that? Will you send me that?
Yes, I will.
Good.
I will. It's so funny.
Can we find any episode online now? I haven't seen.
No. There's just
episodes I've done.
There's just bits and pieces. And then Joy, what about you?
Do you guys remember the tape room where if you wanted one of your scenes to the reel, you had to go down into there was this little room, and there were videos everywhere. There's a library of videotapes, and there was a machine and a double recorder. So any episode that you remembered, I loved that scene. I want to put that on my reel. As an actor, you'd have to go down, dig through the library, pull out the tape, stick it in the machine, stick it the blank tape in the other machine, and then fast forward until you found your scene.
Yeah, that's Joy's talking about the tape room, Paulie, on the
I can't hear Joy. Yeah, what's she saying? Because I can't hear.
She's talking about the tape room.
Tape room, yeah.
Where you had to go and watch your own tapes on the 4th floor. You could go watch and make copies.
I used to take you down there and make your demos for you, Paul.
Oh, that's right. I remember that now. Oh my God. I remember one time. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt them. I have vivid memory that just came back to me, and I just have to say it. So I remember one time I was in like the office, like there was like a production office or something. And there was a section that said fan mail, like the mail that like they would like get. And then someone's job was to like take that fan mail and like write the synopsis of what the letter was. So like literally it'd be like, it was either like, they love Paulo Benedeti, and then they would go. So every time the executive producers, because this was before Twitter and all that, crap. And so they would look and they would see what the response of the fans was based on this fan mail that they summarized. And I remember like kind of looking, it was like, Joy's amazing, loves the relationship between so-and-so and so-and-so. And I was like, wow, this is so cool. And nobody saw me. And then I came across one, doesn't like the new Max Nickerson. And I remember I took it and I was like,
That's what I would have done too.
That is hilarious.
That is the best story I've heard.
I refuse to let anyone see that. It was so
funny.
That
is Marlboro. You got those skills from Marlboro, buddy.
Yeah. That is a great story.
You know that another really bad story about Paul is that Paul and I had like a very tumultuous relationship. And I'm not going to give everything away, Paul, but
I don't care.
He would torment me because he knew that I was like, I am a professional. I need to act. Like, this guy is driving me nuts. I can't believe I flirted with him in his screen test. And so he would like on purpose try to mess with me. And I would be studying my lines in my dressing room, and he would open up the door and he would slam himself in, and he'd lift up his shirt and he'd be like, look at my happy trail.
My happy trail.
And
then he would put his shirt down and he would leave. And that was it. And I was like,
would I like show off my abs or something?
Yes, but like you were just trying to mess with me. You were literally just trying to annoy me. And you were like, this is really going to bug her. And I had this like brother-sister relationship with you where I was like, Paul! Like I was so mad at you.
I love that.
And you wrote me like a letter once. Like
I wrote you a letter apologizing because I hated you so much.
Oh my God.
I got this letter from Brittany. Was like, I just want to say I'm sorry if I'm ever mean to you. And
oh my gosh.
But now you're one of my good friends. So
That's a great story. That is a great story.
Paul was used to hanging out with me and Tammy in our like second and third year where we were very loose, and then he would go to work with you and loose.
I was going to say that's probably Paulo's fault because he was teaching him that.
Oh, definitely. I'll save a question for later. Joy, and for you, what started you on your acting path?
I just did some theater when I was a kid. It was like just a kind of I think I did like a fashion show for Dillard's catalog or something. When I was 5 or 6. I don't know. I think my mom, like probably somebody stopped her at the mall or something and was like, hey, do you guys want to do like a mother-daughter fashion show? And I really liked being on stage. I think I did something weird. Like I lingered on the runway and I was like, oh, this is fun. All these people staring at me. Wow. Typical only child.
That's funny. Well, that's how it starts.
And that's how it started. And then I did, I was in The Wizard of Oz. I played a Munchkin. I also did Gypsy in community theater, but I was baby June.
She played a Munchkin in Wizard of Oz. I love that. That's great.
Yeah. And then just kind of kept going. I mean, I thought of many different careers because, there's so many people that'll tell you like acting's a cute hobby. You have to have a backup plan. You have to, make sure you have a skill. And so there were a lot of other avenues that I thought I would be interested in, but
unless you get training on the guiding light, right, Joy?
Yeah. That's right. Well, nothing made me
you all have one.
You guys, I'm the only one not in it.
On stage,
you all have one thing in common. Well, 2 things: guiding light, of course, and then this gentleman, Mr. Glenn Daniels, who passed you all.
Oh my
gosh! Hey, Glenn,
look at what you put together, buddy.
Whoa.
Can you hear us?
Can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you. How are you?
Fascinating 45 minutes of my life. First of all, I apologize to all of you because you turned out to be such horrible losers with lousy careers. I tried. Not my fault. But I know the real stories of how every single one of you got the jobs, and they're not.
Glenn
tell us if we're right. Maybe we're not right.
For Paul, for sure.
Glenn texted me about the Paulo story about Tammy. So, so he verified it. He verified it.
How she got that job? I don't think. Do you know the story of how you got it?
Who, me?
Yeah.
You,
Tam.
I now know how I got the job. And now I know I owe everything to Paulo Benedetti. But don't worry, I plan on marrying.
Well, I want to hear Glenn. Huh? I want to hear Glenn's story. Wait. I may have made up the elaboration of mine. Who knows?
No, not you, Paulo.
I want to hear the story.
I don't know if what Paulo said actually happened, but I had to tell Paul that if he didn't hire you, he had to fire me.
Oh my gosh! Now I have to marry you both when I'm 65. This is ridiculous. I mean,
the other thing that you don't know is that CBS didn't want to approve you.
Oh my gosh, my whole life is falling apart. I can't. This is hilarious. This is why I don't do press. This is why.
Yeah.
So wait,
CBS didn't want to hire you, so we had to screen test you with the feed to CBS off.
Oh my God.
And then show them the test afterwards. We sort of had to do it on the sly because they were going to say no. And Paul and I said, no, we can't let them do this. This. I remember somebody at the network said to me, you mean that crazy girl who bounces off the walls? And I said, no, I'm talking about the next Meryl Streep. And I said to Paul, we have to do something. We absolutely have to do something. So we came up with this plan to turn the feed to CBS off so we could screen test you and then show them the test afterwards and go, hello? Hello?
Wow.
That's so
Oh my
cool.
gosh.
Did she get a Glenn? Did she get a contract right away, or was she? Because I know a lot of times we would sneak people. We would sneak people in by recurring and then give them the contract.
No. It was a contract role to begin with, and so there was a pre-deal in place for the screen test, so that as soon as somebody said yes to the screen test, the contract began.
Great, got it.
It's just
Paulo.
Glenn,
Paulo story.
Maybe Paulo
it's
helped.
like,
I went
like-
to Paul. I went to Paul, and I was like, "You can't hire that other girl." Which the other girl was, a shoe in. She was been acting since she was in the womb.
I don't even remember who the girl was.
She's like, I know stage left. I know stage right. I know my dialogues backwards. I was like, "Oh, shoot me in the face now, please."
Thank you guys. Glenn, thank you so much for doing that.
You're welcome, Kitty. And you proved me right. So
Yeah.
Thank you.
Brittany, you actually got the job off the tape that you did with your dad in the living room in Florida, and your coming up to read in Paul's office was like a rubber stamp.
Wow.
I never knew that.
She already had it. She didn't know it. How cool.
Wow.
You already had it. As soon as
That's
you showed
so
him the tape
funny.
from Florida, he was like, "Oh, well, so this is it."
Wow.
That's
And
crazy.
he flew you up, and he had you in the room like, you know how he was with his puffing cigar and all that shit. Like,
He was like trying to intimidate me, I remember.
I'm here in person and all that crap.
Always.
That's the job. You had it.
Oh,
that's
awesome.
He said,
Cool.
how old were you? 12, 11, 10?
I was 12, yeah.
You
That
look
piece of tape.
the same, Brittany.
Oh, and by the way, all three ladies look stunning.
Amazing.
Stunning.
Thank you.
Stunning, all three.
I agree.
You too, Glenn. You look great.
Oh, yeah. Awesome. Yeah.
You look fabulous.
Fabulous.
70 is a trip, let me tell you. It is a
70.
Wow.
You don't even know what box to put it in, you know?
Is it better? Does it get better?
It gets weirder.
It gets weirder. Like an acid trip or
I was finally getting pale again. Now I'm red again.
Oh no, he's red again. I keep crying.
We're in trouble.
No, what was really interesting to me is that I didn't know about all this camaraderie backstage and how everybody had like a mentor or a teacher or a best friend, or I didn't know about any of that stuff. I thought you were all just like, doing your thing.
And then, it's really nice to see, because I mean, they all have somebody who helped, especially the young ones. I mean, Brittany being 12, I mean, but even, Tammy and Joy were both really young. I mean, Joy, you said Paul Anthony for you. Was Paul Anthony helped you?
Yeah, he was a huge mentor for me as an actor, as a human. I mean, he set as a man, set an example for me in so many ways. And I really looked up to him. And we, I still do, like, we still stay in touch. He's just a really stellar human being. And
he almost came on to cause trouble.
On the show?
On this, Paul wanted. He's like,
he did.
"Can I come on?" And
that would have been so fun. Love him. I know we really, we were all so young. We knew each other at such a formative time in our life. I mean, I had just moved to New York City. My first year on Guiding Light, I actually was still living in Jersey and going to high school and getting my homework faxed to me in my own apartment. And my parents had moved out. I had my own place, and I was like driving into the city, often late, and they would dock my pay because I was a young kid and couldn't get my shit together, figure out how to get to work on time. And, but we all knew each other in such formative years. And like, we raised each other in a lot of ways, the time that we were there. It was great.
I think behind the scenes, I was trying, sorry, Alan, I'll say this really quick. Behind the scenes, I was always trying to create like a making of the behind the scenes of our show. Remember, Tammy?
Yeah.
Well, 30 Rock, Tina Fey kind of beat me to it on that one, no? Anyhow, carry on, Alan.
No, that's okay.
I was going to remake Soap Dish. Sorry, Alan.
something to do like a TV show of Soap Dish, because the stuff that goes on behind the
Paulie,
scenes.
write it, direct it. Come on, you got your cast right here, except me, the fat guy.
Joy was saying we should be doing a remake of Soap Dish.
Yeah. There you go.
Oh, that's what she's saying. Yeah.
And Joy was talking about
Paul Roush. Hey,
you can't make that up. He was like a character that you would never be able to write and people would believe.
I mean,
he was a caricature.
Yeah, it actually, because I never saw Soap Dish. Is that show
Locker
about
pretty cool.
Oh yeah,
movie with Robert Downey Jr. and Sally
Whoopi
Field.
Goldberg and Sally Field.
It's pretty neat.
Yeah.
And I always talked with Tammy in the private room we were all in with the crew about doing a behind the scenes, where I went to Screen Gems and asked them if I could use the exact same sets and shoot at night before they flipped them, and do a comedy, which Tina Fey beat me to it, based on Saturday Night Live.
Good idea, man.
It's all about execution. Paul, you executed.
30 Rock. 30 Rock.
30 Rock. Paul, were you going to
are.
high school as well when at Guiding Light?
Oh, yeah. I got kicked out of high school. I got kicked out of my first high school because I was going to Guiding Light too much. And they didn't, because I didn't, they were like, you're missing too much school, you're out. Because I was at this like private all boys, whatever the hell. Thank God that they kicked me out. And then I went to a public high school. They kicked me out again. And I had to go to another. So my whole high school years were like just a mess. And I somehow got decent grades. But man, I was like basically in New York 3 days a week shooting or whatever. And then trying to go to class at the same time. You had a tutor, Brittany. I remember being
going clubbing with me.
Going clubbing with
Joy, you had a tutor. Brittany, you had a tutor, he was saying?
So I was doing the craziest thing. I don't know if you guys remember this, but my parents didn't want me to be abnormal. So they kept me in school in Florida, and I flew to New York every week. So I would do 2 or 3 days on the soap, and then I would fly to Florida and do a day or two of school. And then I would fly to New York. And then I went back and forth like that for 3.5 years. And
I remember that.
And
was that helpful and effective in a good way, in a positive way, or did that have the opposite effect?
It was the worst idea that has ever been done, because I was JetBlue and I became very familiar. And I was on that flight every.
JetBlue was around then?
JetBlue, it just come out, and I remember that I liked it because they had blue potato chips. And I knew all the stewardesses, and but yeah, it was not very effective because I was so discombobulated from learning 50 pages of lines and then also teaching myself math, so.
Tammy's up there like 50, up 60, 72 was my peak.
Yeah.
Wow.
72 pages was the max. Holy cow.
Tammy, can you talk about Patty Darbanville?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, she was such a blessing, such a fun-loving character, and such a great actress.
Selena.
She was a great woman. She is a great woman. She is a great actress too. And she actually introduced me to my manager, who managed me for, I think, a good 15 years after that. But yeah. She was great.
She was just on Billions, I think. I think it's Billions.
Yes. That's
wow.
I think it was Billions. I'd have to look it up, but I think it was Billions because I just saw her face. I was so excited.
Cat Stevens wrote a song about her. What was it called? Paulo, do you remember?
Oh, yeah.
No, but I love her.
Is it Lady Darbanville?
Lady Darbanville.
That song was written for her. So she
told me some deep stories that I recall very well, not appropriate for this show.
Wow.
I was 23. I was a kid too. I was like, wow. I was like, hey, that should be in our behind the scenes show.
There's a lot of things. There's a lot of things you all witnessed that some young people shouldn't witness.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, that's growing up quickly. I almost should have stayed another 3 years and made some money with you guys.
I have to say about Patty, though, what I really remember looking at her, she was the first woman who, how old was she when she was on the show, when she was on Guiding Light, do we think? Like in what age range? Because I just remember like looking up to her, and I at least thought she was sort of my mom's age. And I thought she was the first woman in that age bracket I had ever seen who was sexy. I just had never encountered a woman like I just was like, this is so cool. Didn't know you could be like a mom and like hot. She was just like
I met her daughter with Don Johnson at the Peninsula in LA. I was like, Don, this is your daughter with Patty? And he was like, yeah. I was like, I just had her meet you.
Paul, Joy was talking about how beautiful Patty was, that she was a real woman, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I remember.
She said sexy. She said
sexy woman.
She was. She totally was. She was a fun. My God, did I laugh around Patty. Paul, I have to ask you, because my husband and I were big fans of the Vampire Diaries. Oh, good.
Looking back at that now that it's over, what does it mean to you?
I don't know. You know, it's so weird. Like, I did like all these pilots or whatever, and you know, most of them didn't get picked up, some did, and they, you know, didn't go. And you know, it's just like a weird thing where it just so happened that this show premiered after Twilight, I guess, and people were just wanted this type of thing, you know. And I feel that, you know, I don't know. I just kind of like, I guess I just in a weird way feel like it was just one of these lightning in a bottle hits that just became this thing. And yeah, it was weird. It was just like a weird time in my life where I was overwhelmed by how successful it got. And now I look at it objectively and really grateful for it. But yeah, it was exhausting and just like 8 years of madness. And it's just, it was interesting. It was my whole mid-20s, and you know, I mean, Joy was on a show for what, 10 years? I mean, you were on One Tree Hill, which was like a similar. It's a weird thing, and Joy could probably speak to it as well, because I can't hear her, but I'm sure you can speak to it. But like, you know, the teen thing. You know, it's one of these pop culture things. You know, where it's like, you know, Tammy, you know, wins an Emmy.
I can't hear anyone.
Oh no, you can't hear me? Oh no. Anyway, it's one of these weird teen things that like, it's just a weird teen thing. I mean, like Brittany with Pitch Perfect, I feel like was a similar, like it has that pop culture, you know, thing. I don't know how to explain it, but it's a strange thing.
I don't think anybody can come close to like the Beatles scenario of your Vampire Diaries.
The Vampire Diaries. Yeah. It's a weird, I don't know what to say. It's a very strange
it's funny,
thing.
Paul, the first thing Brittany said to me, because she remembered, is when she was on Guiding Light, she and I used to watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and we always talked about the vampire.
I love that show. I was obsessed with Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I watched every episode 3 times. So that was my Vampire Diaries.
Yeah, it's definitely the same thing. For some reason, those vampire shows are like, they just skyrocket.
Yeah, but it was great. It's great to now look back at it and appreciate it. When you're in it, you don't even know what the hell's going on, you know. But it was great.
And are you doing this? Is this correct?
Oh yeah. Oh wow. Thanks for the shout out. Yeah. So I started a bourbon company. It's coming out. It'll be it'll be coming out nationally next year.
Ooh, I love bourbon.
In I think 40 something states.
Can you put my address there for Paulie?
Yeah. Please? I'll give you my address too.
What about your friends?
So it's me and the guy who played my brother on the show. We drank bourbon on the Vampire Diaries the whole show, and all the fans kept asking, when are you going to start a bourbon company? And so we finally did. And it's cool. We have a big distributor, and we're very, very excited. So if you're over 21, get it. If you're not over 21, get a flask. I'm kidding. I legally
fake ID like you had. Fake ID like you had.
Yeah, exactly.
Tammy, can you hear us?
Yeah, now I can. It was breaking up for a little bit there.
Well, and I definitely want to hear Brittany too. You know, Pitch Perfect. You know, looking back, you've done 3 of them. What is? I know you. I just saw something where you and the girls have been talking all through this quarantine. What does that experience, you know, mean for you?
Yeah, it's kind of like in this situation where you form these bonds because you're going through a particular time in your life, and so you remember these people because they served a purpose in some way. And And Pitch Perfect was like that for us. I think we were in our early 20s when we started it, and we became kind of a family. You know, we had fights like a family, but we loved each other like a family, and we still do. We're really close, and not in like a publicity way where you say that. We actually are. You know, 3 of them were in my wedding, so it's really special, and that's what I take away from it the most.
That's great. And Joy, for you too. I saw you just did a Zoom like this to get people to vote with your co-stars.
Yep. That's right.
Which everybody go out, register, and vote.
Yes.
Right?
I just got my, I have it right here. Attention voters, voting at home. And, you know, it's important we all sign up for that. Stay safe. Yeah. I mean, there's so much, history when you spend that much time with people, and you just become like family. I'm still close with a lot of people from our show. It just happens naturally. It's kind of one of the things about being in this business though too, that's hard, but you know, you form friendships really quickly because you have to get vulnerable and creative with people right away. And so you fall in love with
12-hour days.
Yeah. And you just fall in love with people really fast as friends and, you know, coworkers and colleagues. And then, but we're all in the circus. So, you know, as soon as the job is over, then we move on to something else. And that's been one of the hardest things to adjust to, is knowing that the love hasn't gone anywhere, but, you know, we only have so much bandwidth. We can only really like stay on top of connections with so many people, and just people coming in and out of your life and ebb and flow. And so whereas a lot of people have some friends that they've grown up with, and that's their core group of people, and they've known them their whole lives. I have a few people like that, but mostly I've had the opportunity to get to know so many different people in so many different places. And I think it's really expanded my ability to have empathy and compassion and just see the world in, you know, in a way outside of my own circle, which I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate to as well.
And daytime fans, do you? Who'd we lose? Tammy.
Tammy, come back, Tammy.
Paulo, you can text her if for some reason it just died out. Daytime fans, you know, except for the letter that you took away and threw out, Paul, do you have any memories of interacting with the fans? I mean, I keep trying to look at, you know, the comments coming up here, and people are just thrilled to see all of you and hear these stories.
Oh, good.
I remember me and Tammy and like 2 other cast members got invited to do a virtual chat in a room with about 12 computers. We all got a computer. And prior to that, I would take a backpack of fan mail and on my bicycle or rollerblades to the park and write back fans with my hand. And I was like, yeah, let me check this out. I was all into technology. I was computer science engineering guy. And I go in there and I am typing away like, yes, I like red wine. Yes, I'll drink Jack Daniels occasionally. And since then, I still get those Jesse girls giving me birthday gifts, my Cabernets that I like, Jack Daniels. But I was like, this is amazing. So I'm like one of the first 50 or 500 people on Facebook. Everyone was on MySpace at the time. And I use Messenger still today with fans.
Whoa, wow. That's amazing.
That's cool.
That's cool.
Actually, a fan gave me a book of every article I've ever been in, and I lost everything in a warehouse. It should be right here.
Oh.
Look at this book. Susan. I had oysters and dinner with her. And she made me
look at you.
Look, you guys are all in every one of these, by the way.
Wow.
That, oh my
God. That thing that you said, Alan, about I don't know. Look, there you are. Hey, the whole fan club.
There we are. Oh my
God. Brittany, there's a music video to Daisy online as well, and there were pictures. Yes.
There is?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I have looked up, things in the past because Paul and I have stayed close. Though, like we've looked up like Max and Susan, scenes or whatever, and they're still on there.
Yeah,
And that's a trip. It's amazing that people have taken them and put them online. It's really cool. Even
I sent you something recently, didn't I, Brittany? Do you remember that?
Yeah,
I think I sent you something on Twitter or something like that.
Have you guys ever worked again together or no?
yes. Yeah, they did a movie together.
We also did a TV. I also did. Yeah, Brittany had a show on NBC, and I had a recurring on it. And
right, American Dreams. Yeah,
American Dreams, and then we did a movie together in Bulgaria.
Yeah, that was talk about someone being like a best friend at a bad time. I was going through a breakup, and Paul was like the only thing that kept me alive because we were in Bulgaria. It was it was crazy. So he was.
What was it like to work together that many years later?
It was a trip.
I feel like we're gonna work together again. I feel like it's just gonna continue.
Paulo, you should text Tammy to see if she wanted to get back on before we sign off.
I did, but I don't know if she's getting in.
Her phone might have died.
Yeah, that's probably it. Paul, your promo for your new show looks amazing, dude. I want to binge it.
It's actually an old show, but yeah, they're re-airing it. But yeah,
it looks great.
Thanks. Yeah,
I DVR'd it. Pretty good. I DVR'd it last night because I saw your post, so I'm going to watch it.
I think networks should just start airing all pilots that didn't get picked up, just for the hell of it.
Because the famous one.
That's such a smart idea.
Right? Because what else are people going to watch? There's no new content being made. Everybody has to stay home. You can't really film during COVID.
But it's actually an interesting concept, Joy, to re-air pilots that never aired. But the possibility with all of these streaming platforms, if it did well, somebody could try to, make it again.
There would be 15 really bad pilots of mine just floating there.
Can I tell a quick story?
Yeah.
So right when I went to LA, I always loved producing. I was going to, they called me the entrepreneur. When I was doing Out of the Blue, I was in NAPTY. Anyways, when I moved to LA and, film stopped chasing me, only in New York they chased me, I grabbed a script called The Spirits. And I was told by the head writer to play the lead vampire. And that was Steele and then Axel. And I said, I have the right kid for this role. Do you remember, Paul? Did I ever give you the script? So I wanted Paul to play the second lead vampire named Axel. And I took it to Montezuma Speranza. I took it to distributors, and they said, yeah, that vampire thing, that's very like Corey Haim, Corey Feldman. It's just not happening. But thank you. And about a year later, your whole thing, True Blood, everything happened. I was like, what the heck? I was always ahead of my time.
Not True Blood, Vampire Diaries, Paul.
The Spirit, written by Yvonne de la Rosa, a vampire script. It was awesome. It was like Fast.
It's never too late, Paulo. It's never too late.
I got to lose some weight, though, and shave the beard, though. Right, Paulie?
Yeah. Hey, stay out of the sun. Stay out of the sun.
You are too red.
Well, whatever. Who cares? Who cares? Forget about it.
What'd you say, Glenn?
I regrettably have to bail.
Bye. Thank you, Glenn.
So good to see you.
Glenn,
Thank you so much, Glenn.
Thank
you all look fucking amazing. Oh, I guess I shouldn't have said that.
You can.
You can. It's the internet.
We were putting this all together, Glenn.
I've seen press on you where you always give props to Guiding Light, and it really makes me
Who are you
proud.
talking to?
Who? Brittany.
Everybody.
Oh.
Right? Is it, or are you talking to
No, I see press on you a lot where you always give props to Guiding Light. And that's a really good thing because often there are people who shall remain nameless, Tay Diggs, who pretend like they were never on the show.
Right. Well,
So good on
thank you. I mean, it's the best training you can get. I mean, 50, 70 pages a day. Where are you gonna get that?
You got to learn how to be on your feet.
Tammy and I were talking about that earlier because in New York, sadly, they don't have that. Because there are no soaps in New York. They're only in California.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, for Tammy, who would never leave New Jersey, you know, it would be a different, you know, she wouldn't have had that. You know, it's interesting.
I'm out of here, guys. It was great to see all of you. Please, somebody say goodbye to Tammy for me.
We will. Thanks, Glenn.
Nice to see you.
Bye, Glenn. Thank you
Take
so
care.
much.
Congrats on your new house. Wish you would have came to North Carolina, though, buddy.
I will just ask, is there a favorite memory at Guiding Light that you all have?
Ladies first. Brittany, you're on the spot. Hey, Joy, do people call you Bethany or Joy now? What do they call you?
Just Joy. Everybody calls me Joy.
Yeah. By the way, I said it already. You look stunning. And you too, Brittany.
Thank you.
Stop hitting on Joy.
Always the charmer, that Paulo Benedetti. Always the charmer.
Come on.
Oh, this was going to be my question. Sad Tammy's not here for it. Who was the biggest troublemaker?
Paulo.
Paulo and
Yeah. I mean, obviously.
Exactly.
It was funny though, because I wasn't really around Paulo because you were just old enough to where like I knew you were trouble, so I kind of like stayed away from you. But then I got Paul because Paul would hang out with you, and then it would residually.
Yeah.
Paulo,
he was like, Paulo was my idol, so I was like, let me act like him.
And so I feel like I got both of you, and it was just I was such a little prissy brat, and I was like, leave me alone, I'm acting.
Awesome.
You were slamming the door.
Professional, Brittany.
You were slamming the door. Get out of my dressing room.
Don't show me your abs ever again.
Happy trading.
You never know.
Oh, God. It was the best. I don't have any specific memories. Like great. Yeah, that's okay. I have so many, but I think I just remember like Brittany was saying, it really is the best training for any actor because you're just and it was fun. Like you show up and they never expected you to get all the words right because how could they ever expect anybody to memorize 50 words a day exactly right? So, or 50 pages a day exactly right. So, you know, we had this freedom to just, it was like, okay, here's the gist of the scene, go, make it happen. And we all just were playing all the time.
I went to Justin D's once, Joy, on that. And when I graduated and got to the 5th floor dressing rooms, I was between Justin and Jordan. So anyhow, I go to Justin. I was like, bro, do you try to make sense of the dialogue when the writers don't make sense? And he goes, Paulo, they pay me to act, not to write. And I go, okay. And he goes, when they write it improperly with a typo, I say it exactly how they typed it, but I make it work because they don't pay me to write. So he goes, and he would give me an example. Is like, is there the cherry? And it's like, he was like, what the heck is that line? And he would make it work. And, you know, even though it was a typo, he said word for word. And ever since then, that was probably halfway through my 3-year, I never changed the word.
Really?
Yeah.
There's nothing like Justin D's.
I love that
Brittany
guy.
and Paul, you worked with him a lot, right?
Yeah.
Wait, who did he play?
He played your grandfather, Buzz.
Yeah.
Oh, Buzz. Oh my gosh, I loved him. Yeah.
I remember him as well.
Paul gave me my last scene with him, and I actually couldn't finish it and cried so many times. I had to do it at the end of the day. Paul's like, hey, you actually freaking care? He's like, and then they both kissed me on the lips on the way out. I was like, oh, man, get out of here.
That's like the mafia. That's like the
mafia. Like, get out of here. And then Paul ended up across the hallway from me on Bold and the Beautiful doing Young and the Restless before he passed. So I went into his office.
Paul Roush.
I went into his office. I think maybe it was a cigarette or something. I was like, hey, Paul, how you doing? He's like, bro, we can't smoke. It's CBS here. I was like, oh, okay.
Was that LA or New York?
It was in
LA.
LA.
In LA at Television City, which no longer exists either.
Paulo, I know your role on Bold and the Beautiful affected a lot of people because it was an HIV character, right? Or the character had HIV?
Yes, sir.
Was there something you did to prep to do that role? Because some fans had written me to ask you that.
You know, I was never a trained actor. I just went with it. So, you know, being a Colombian speaker, mi primer idioma es español, I'm acting every day. So, you know, I'm in North Kakalaka and I'm talking like this with all my neighbors down on Desertville. So, you know, I just kind of fall into it. New York, I kind of turned into an ass, and hey, you fucking doing? Get out of my cab, you old lady. It's mine. You know, when I kicked the woman out of my cab going to the Emmys, I was late to present. I was like, all right, I got to get out of here. This town's killing me. You know, I basically was picturing my father right there getting buried 6 feet when they told me I was HIV positive. And I pictured that, and the camera crew, you know, cut. They went to the papers, and I was like, what? We're not moving on? He goes, hey, kid, no one's ever cried on this show before. So we're going to have to do it again. And I said, okay. And then Rhonda Freeman goes, cut. She comes down, and she goes, that was amazing. And she was all tearied up. And I said, I know. The crew told me no one's ever cried on this show in, 30 years. And Rhonda said, you'll be the first. And I guess I cry all the time now. I don't know. I just get into, I was picturing my old man going down 6 feet while I was learning that I was HIV positive. And I don't know. It was grueling playing that nasty void of feeling like you have a disease. So it was tough, but yeah, I guess we all pull it off.
Is that your dog?
Yeah, sorry, he was starting to go a little crazy. He was getting antsy, so I had to pick him up.
Nice.
Yeah,
what's his
this
name?
is Gregory. Yeah, his name's Gregory. He's only he's 5 months old.
Black Lab?
Oh, get out!
He's a rescue. You look ridiculous, Gregory. Yeah, he's half lab, half German Shepherd and Pit and Great Pyrenees. He's gonna be a big boy, but he's getting antsy. I got to take him out to pee-pee.
All right. Well, guys, I can't tell you how much this meant. This was fantastic. I'm going to sign off. Just stay here for a minute. We'll sign off. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having us.
It was a pleasure. It was so much fun.
Thank you, guys.
So much
Thank
fun.
you, Alan.
We'll sign off in just a minute.
And Britt and Joy, it was so nice to see you guys.
Don't go anywhere, Paulo. Hold on for 1 second. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in today. I'll see you tomorrow.
All right, you guys can talk and do